relation and its type, and determine whether a relation is a function using vertical line test. Okay. So, you told me a while ago, you agreed a while ago na you have researched no, about function, and you already have an idea about our topic for today. So, can any one of you share your idea or the one that you researched? So, what is function all about?
Equation of a circle. But
Wait lang.
before we proceed to our discussion,
Anyone?
let me ask you about our previous discussion, which is about Conet section. Now,
Sige.
how does Conet
Wait lang ha, I'll be back.
what are those words?
Okay.
Okay,
An idea.
Mariel,
What is function all about? Do you have an idea?
circle, ellipse.
Okay, you can research
So,
actually.
two
So, anyways,
or two figures
okay.
intersect to each other,
Wala.
create different words. First is parabola, second is circle, third is ellipse, and hyperbola. And as we all know that circle is a special type of
Okay, sige, wala na.
so connected lang siya.
Okay, what is this function and relation all about? Okay, we're going to discuss it now. Okay, so these are important mathematical equations that have real life applications, and it arises whenever two things are related to each other or depends on another by some type of rule. So that is a function. Sige, screenshot sa ninyo.
The first type of accounting.
Okay, so
Okay, let us
I have here some practical examples no of a function, di ba? Because we define function as they are related to each other or the one depends on the other one. Okay, so muna siya ang function or relation. Okay, so we have here an example. For instance, the score you get in your exam depends on the amount of work you put in studying. Okay, that's the one first example. And we have here, if your parents are keen on your school progress, your allowance might depend on your academic performance. And third one, a wage earner's income depends on the number of hours he work. And the last one is the amount of weight a person gains is a function on how much food he eats. Okay, so those are examples. Okay, we will discuss it later on. Okay, so a function class is used to describe how one variable depends on the other. Okay, so there is an independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, so for instance, we have example, kanina, di ba? The amount of money a worker makes is a function of how many hours he works. Okay, so can anyone identify the dependent variable here? What is the dependent variable? Anyone?
What is immeasurable fact about this drive is that
Anyone?
circular in
Wait
shape.
lang, baka
And the
makita. Baka makita.
outer rim of the wheel have equal distances from the center. Naman di ba kanina ako i-share?
Can anyone identify the dependent variable in the given example?
Now,
Sige, try lang. Okay, in every, kada tingog ninyo, of course, I will record it for your points for oral participation. Anyone, don't be afraid. Pili na ako nakatulog. Katugan mo. Kaya manayaw ta karon, pasayaw ta mag-BTS. Sige. Natawa sila. Huwag si Mary. Sige, pasayawon tagid mo. Manayaw na ta the whole time. Okay, you try to identify ninyo kung ano may dependent variable at tong given example. The worker sa to, the amount of money a worker makes is a function of how many hours he works. So, what do you think is the dependent variable? Okay, sige, nakadungog ko ting. Nakadungog ko kinsa to? Kinsa mo volunteer? Sige si Prince Roy. Ganahan ko yung mga mag-volunteer. Sige Prince.
Ang dependent variable kay ang effect.
Sige. You're going to identify sa example nga given asa man adto ang dependent variable. Sige.
So let us start.
You said nga ang dependent variable is an effect. So asa man ang effect ani sa given na example. The work, okay, akong balikan ang example ha, the money, the amount of money a worker makes is a function of how many hours he works. So unsa may effect
Kung pila ka arts ang yang nabuhat, ma'am?
When you say that a figure is a circle, if it has no.
Sige daw, sige, you think twice. Unsa may iyang, sige ha. Sige.
How about man? Kasi mga tumahitunod
Wait.
okay, that object or that figure.
Kaya akong ibalik og present ha.
Anyone.
Kamang gid mo makita ba pag mag-share ko og screen?
It consists.
Okay, again.
It consists close for the time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So that is
Okay, so again ha, ang function is used to describe how one variable depends on another. So naa siya independent variable ug naa siya dependent variable. Let's say here, the amount of money a worker makes is a function of how many hours he works. So unsa may kanang, di ba, gipatanong mo na ko kung unsa ang iyang dependent variable. So ang dependent variable varies, or ang dependent variable is, sige, wait ha, I'll show it to you. Okay. And then, i-show na ko sa inyo example, and then later on, you will identify the next one in our example. So here, the amount of money a worker makes is a function of how many hours he works. So that means that the number of hours the worker spent in his job is the independent variable. And the amount of money he makes is the dependent variable. Di ba, ana si Prince, ganina nga, ang dependent variable daw is the result, no, or the outcome sa iyang gibuhat. So that means dependent ang money, di ba, iyang money nga iyang mahimo, the amount of money that he makes on the number of hours that he spends on his job. So for example, short period, let's say 4 hours lang iyang number of hours na work niya. So that means affected, 'di ba? Affected ang iyang makuha ng money. So for example, 8 hours siya, so that means makuha niya iyang whole salary for that day, 8 hours man siya. So therefore, ang amount of money depends, 'di ba? Ang amount of money nga iyang ma-make depends on the hours nga mas-spend niya on his job. Does it make sense or confused?
Yes, ma'am.
Nasabdan ra?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige, confirm na ko ha, kay dili ta mo makita. Okay, sunod. So relation, okay, let us define relations. Sige. Can anyone read? Isa lang mag-read.
Anita sa ano? Mo iwa o ano?
Sige, si Koan. Hindi maganda ko. Si Cedric. Sige, Cedric.
Na-assign. Ang partition event was created for namod na siya.
You read, Cedric.
Reading the cards. Na storytell ba na ako last time sa inyo? Nga, ang pag-create
Mali.
ko
Is it my connection or what?
No?
Hello? Wala si Cedric? Okay, nawala din si Cedric. Sige, si Ah, na di ay. Sorry.
Ay, langaw ito mga great influence sa atin. Sa langaw, buktan niya, nag-produce niya asa dapat yung position ng langaw or kung ilocate ba kung asa daw dapat ang iyong area. Binagi sa duma ka number line.
So again ha.
Number line.
Sige, nakita niyo akong screen? Nakita ang screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige, read.
Yes, ma'am.
That relates values from a set of values called the domain to a second set of values called the range.
Okay, so basically,
Ganun.
to make it short, yes, they are related, di ba? Relation, di ba? They are related. Set of values is related to another set of values. Okay, so it is a set of ordered pairs. Whereas function, it is a relation, okay, with a property that every element of X corresponds to exactly one element of Y. So it is a set of ordered pairs in which one input will produce one output. Okay? So dito na rin masulod ang input o ang output. And this is also called the domain and the range. Okay. Sige, let's sige, balik sa tagdari ha. It is relation man no. So, sige. Itong line ni example. Sige.
Okay, that is ordered pair. Okay.
Sige, here. Diba, ito na ning na ang first example, we already identified the independent and the dependent variable. Again, in the first one, are the third one that I don't identify. A wage earner's income depends on the number of hours he worked. So, dependent ang income, okay, sa number of hours. Okay? Always remember that. Now, let's try to figure out the first example. Figure out na to, what is the dependent and what is the independent variable. Okay, anyone?
Ako, ma'am.
Kinsa to natingog pinakauna?
Okay. So, sir, radius, kung isa na. Plural form of radius.
Wait lang, ha?
Raday. Okay, raday.
Apelido?
Lovely, ma'am, lovely.
Lovely.
Plural form of
You tell me your last name or first name, ha? Okay, so that I can jot it down. Okay, Lovely. Please identify the dependent and independent variable.
Diameter. Okay, that is the basic, kaning part sa circle. Okay, so, pero, kanina daw nung center, C or our fixed point.
Okay, so thank you, Lovely. The scores you get in your exam depends, all right, or is dependent on the amount of work that you put in studying. So let's say, for example, the amount of work you put in studying is less lang kay i-try or dili mo siya priority, di ba? Or bikoan na magkilain nga buhaton ma'am, so dili gid wala gid kita mag-study. So if that's the case, then it will affect, right? It will really affect your scores in your exam, of course. Kung ano lang, kanang nala exemption kung bright ka kaayo, di ba? So, dili na magiging mag-study kay I know everything. Char. So, kung kapag makasutanan, okay na ka dili mag-study. So, it won't affect your scores in your exam. But, for example, pareha sa ako ang I really need to work hard or I really need to study so that I can get good grades, then kung dili na ko priority ang kanang work hard or mag-study, then it will really affect my scores, of course. There's also a possibility that I will fail, di ba? So, okay, sige, the last na to nga example, kining the amount of weight, kini, murag, grabe kini ka practical, practical kay ni siya nga example. The amount of weight a person gains is a function of how much food he eats. So, can anyone identify the independent and dependent variable? Last name.
Anyone?
Sige.
Okay. Okay. Banana. Okay.
Wait.
We have
Sige. Kasi gusto mag-identify. Wala.
So, si distance formula.
Pamela, ma'am.
Pamela. Sige, Pamela. Wait, ako may balik. Okay, Pam. Sige, Pam.
Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras.
Sige.
The amount of weight a person gains is a function of how much food he eats. The dependable variable is dependent variable is the amount of weight a person gains, while the independent variable is how much food he eats.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Okay, so again, the amount of weight a person gains depends on how much food he eats. So, kung mag-eat ka, para sa ako, daghan di, of course, it will really affect my weight. But if you eat less, so it will also affect your weight also. Okay. So, that's it. So, di ba muna siya ang mga practical examples of a relation and a function. Okay, now let's go to what if ato siyang i-move sa kanang numbers or mathematics nga naa siya equation na given. Okay. Okay, wait ha. Okay. So, again, in function, there is an input. Okay. There is an input and there is a process and the output. Okay, again, the output or the result of a certain equation depends on the input. Okay, so sige. We have here f of x is equal to 6x plus 1. Okay, so do you have any idea, guys, how you're going to solve for this? How are we going to find the value of y or find the output of the given input, which is x is equal to 5, given that we have an equation f of x is equal to 6x plus 1. Anyone?
Values of x or
Does anyone have an idea?
input mo na other terms niya. Now, si y, ang tawag nato is coordinate or ang values ng y or
Kinsa to naging substitute?
mo na tawag nato. This is domain, this is our
Gandan, ma'am.
range. Now, ang ordered variable
Okay,
is
dagandan.
domain.
Sige. Yun sa mani, do you know, what do you think is the value of y itself?
This is our domain. Y and k is our range. So since
Because you said you're going to substitute the value of x in the given equation, 6x plus 1. So, when we know already that atong buhaton is substitute, what do you think is the result or the output or the value of y? Sige.
X of h, sir, minus
Anyone?
Remember, pangita natin ang distance.
Ito may buhaton nato.
Our domain.
Kinsa to?
See, h is The second domain is the
31, Pamela.
The second is
31. Okay, let's see if it's correct. Okay, very good, Pamela. So, sige. Sige, Pamela, how did you do it? How did you come up with the answer 31?
So the states that x is equals to 5, I just substitute the x, ma'am, given 6 times 5 plus 1.
Okay. Thank you, Pamela. That is correct. So all you're going to do is substitute the given value of x into the given equation so that you will have the output or the value of y. Now let's have this 7. If it's 7, what do you think is the value or the output of y? I mean the value of y.
The square of. Okay.
Another hand.
So, plus.
Sige, kinsa?
So we have
What?
third plus as susulat is parenthesis. Not like
Sige.
8. Instead of writing 8, we represent na plus parenthesis.
Okay.
Second, instead of writing B,
Again, sige. Sige ha. What if it's the value is 7? What do you think is the... Sige, let's give it to the others, Pam. Other hand, kumana po si...
So we have X.
Dara dun si
43, ma'am.
Okay, so the value of or the output is 43 because 7 times 6 is 42 plus 1 is 43. Okay, I'll give you another one. How about if the value of x is equal to 8? What do you think is the output?
Halinaw distance formula can also be derived
Any hand?
to the standard form of
Prince, sige, Prince. Sumana ka galing na Prince. Sige,
49,
8.
miss.
48.
49.
Ma'am, 48.
Sige, let's hear ha. Kaya duha ang answer ng atong na come up. Atong i-hear ang... Kasi ito nag-answer 48. 48. Sino nag-answer of 48? Oh, how did you come up with that answer, Rian? Hala,
Ma'am,
another subject naman. Hala, sorry, nangita na inyo, sir. 40? Di ba the given equation is 6x plus 1? So, napay plus 1. So, therefore, 49. Okay. Sige. Do you guys understand how the function works? Diba? All we're going to do is substitute the given value of x to the given equation so that you will come up with the result or the output or the value of the y. Okay? So, nagkapslak na inyong sir, no? Kulban ako, sir. Sorry, sir. Sige. Thank you so much, guys. We will have more examples and further discussions of our topic next meeting. Okay? So, we will see each other again tomorrow because I'll be your teacher in... I don't know what subject. PE. Ay, manayo to mga guys ha. PE and health mo ko. Kung ba ang tanan manindog ang tanan kay manayaw. Of course. PE good. Sige. Thank you everyone for today. I hope you learned something. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.